So I think by now, our Canadian and international allies have gotten used to avoiding the US entirely. We're not searching for their American tourist destinations. We're not putting US products in our cart. I think they say it takes 66 days to form a habit. Well, we're way past that when it comes to the US tourism and product boycott. Later in this video, I have two reports to share. One report shows a 60% drop in Canadian visitors to a US tourist attraction. Another shows even domestic tours are cutting back, mostly for cost reasons. Before we get to those, I want to talk about an article that many of you sent me on Blue Sky and by email. But first, today's backdrop comes from Torn, one of our viewers on Blue Sky. He sent me this aerial photo of Taylor Head Provincial Park in Nova Scotia. Out here on the West Coast, I admit I'm a bit siloed. I think it's really time for me to do some exploring on the East Coast of Canada. Thanks again, Torn, for sending this over. Now back to the article. I wanted to thank everyone who sent this to me. It's important to share stories like this because it shows that Canadian organizations are also taking a stand. This one is from CBC. It reports that Girl Guides Canada is putting their foot down when it comes to the US. They're pausing all trips to the United States indefinitely. The suspension starts September 1st. According to the article, Girl Guides Canada is now joining a growing list of schools that have also suspended travel to the US. I gotta say, I'm very happy to see this. It sends a clear message that Canada isn't gonna put up with the US rhetoric. And not just political, there's also for safety reasons as well. I'm not gonna read the whole article here, but I'll leave a link in the description of the video. And yes, I'll actually remember to do it this time. Thanks again for everyone who sent it in. Just a public service announcement. Please double check the channel name when you're clicking on my videos. And make sure it's actually really my channel. All right, let's get into it.
Well, good evening once again. We begin tonight with voices who feel they are caught in the crossfire of President Trump's ongoing trade war with Canada. Tonight, these Western New Yorkers say once loyal Canadian customers are now giving their businesses the cold shoulder. But first, we have some important numbers to help us all better understand the toll this is taking and what's at stake if something does not change. With a live look at the Peace Bridge tonight, here's some of the data shared with us from Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. He says that since Trump took office in January, the number of people crossing from Canada into the U.S. has dropped by nearly 975,000 compared to this time last year. The spending power these travelers bring to our region is not something that can be easily ignored, with Schumer reporting that Canadian tourism represents nearly 40% of the overall tourism economy in Buffalo.
Let's go back to these stats for a second. 40% is not a small number when it comes to the economy. It's why they're putting up billboards, offering free golf balls, doing exchange rate at par, and running nonstop marketing campaigns to try to get us back. I wish that number was even higher, but I'm content with 40% of their overall economy. It still makes a big dent. But hey, their leader keeps saying that they don't need anything from Canada, right? And breaking news. Well, not really breaking. By the time this video is out, it'll already be all over the news. But Donald Trump has just ordered the National Guard to be deployed in Washington, D.C. You remember that video I did a week ago? The one where the tour guide in D.C. kept telling Canadians to come back and that it's safe? Yeah, I don't think so. What kind of vacation is that when the National Guards are lined up along the street? Anyways, back to the report.
Schumer's office also provided more detailed data for specific tourist attractions in Niagara County. He says the fashion outlets of Niagara Falls have experienced a 30% drop in foot traffic since last year. The attendance now down 18% at the Aquarium of Niagara. And ArtPark in Lewiston is preparing for the financial toll of losing 60% of its typical Canadian visitors. Tonight, 7 News senior reporter Eileen Buckley is turning the mic over to the leader of ArtPark, as well as another Lewiston shop owner. They both agree a declining Canadian customer base is a big hit to their bottom line.
Have a great day. You gonna go somewhere fun for lunch?
Oh, yes.
No one has a better pulse on Canadian customers than Kathy Pignatora, owner of Inspirations on Canvas in the village of Lewiston. This shop owner is also Canadian.
We're just so connected. I hate seeing this divide. I wish we could repair that.
Since March, the Lewiston businesswoman has been witnessing a big dip in her Canadian clients.
I've counted about 27 Canadians in my shop since March. That's pretty unheard of. That would be in like a day or two that I would see that many Canadians. So it breaks my heart being, from Canada.
Does it hurt your bottom line?
I would say yes.
So it hurts your bottom line. But does it also hurt knowing that the country you're from is being threatened by the country where you run your business? As a Canadian living in the US, with a business in the US, I'm really curious what Kathy from Inspiration on Canvas thinks about her country, Canada, being targeted by Trump and his talk about taking us over. I'm going to try to stay neutral here, but it does get under my skin when I hear Canadian business owners in the US side with the US because of money. Maybe I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she's scared to say something on state TV. But then again, maybe she doesn't care, kind of like this guy.
Of course, with the tariff talks, people's emotions got running wild. At the same time, though, in Canada, there's a lot of, it's a record high food bank usage. Housing prices are through the roof, so people are, to begin with, there's a lot of underlying problems where people are, trying to get ahead and having a hard time doing that.
And this guy, he's actually Canadian. I'm not kidding. You'd think listening to him, he'd be a typical Trump supporter. But yeah, he's in Myrtle Beach. But here's what I really want to know. Why do you think Kathy, as a Canadian, never mentioned the root cause of all of these problems that we have right now? Let me know in the comments.
Canadians have been most outraged with President Trump saying he wants to make Canada a 51st state, along with a 35% tariff on the country.
What really struck me is the beautiful letters I started getting from Canadians. It said, "We want you to know it's not about you. And we love ArtPark and we love Lewiston and we come and visit every year, but we just feel like we need to take a stand."
ArtPark President Dave Wiedekind telling me the entertainment venue generates a $13 million economic impact for Lewiston, with nearly 15% of ArtPark's audience coming from Canada.
It's all of the people stopping for a drink or dinner before the show, hitting the shops, going out for a nightcap afterwards.
But now ArtPark is experiencing a 60% loss of its Canadian audience this season. 60%, that's big.
Yes, it's huge. And for an organization like ArtPark that does all of our business between late May and early September, it's hard to bounce back from that. You can't recover that.
And the ArtPark leader tells me they're even more concerned about when the third quarter numbers come out that could show an even bigger drop for these businesses. In Lewiston, Eileen Buckley, 7 News.
I don't think it could show a bigger drop. I think it will. The US is in peak summer season right now, and the numbers are already dipping. It's inevitable that the third quarter results are going to be even worse. What actually made me smile, though, was hearing that Canadians, as polite as we are, sent respectful letters to the president to make our stance clear. And credit where it's due. This president actually seems like a decent guy. He's not like the others I've reviewed, who called our stance hype, or blamed it on the weather, or the exchange rate. Anyways, this report shows that ArtPark is down by 60% when it comes to Canadian visitors. But hey, no problem. Domestic tourism will save the day, right? I'd insert the two megadorks here saying that the US relies mainly on domestic tourism, but I think that video needs a break for now. And speaking of US tourism, this next report tells a very different story.
The job market is slowing and there's fear prices could go up. That has many Americans rethinking their travel plans. Christiane Benavides has the results of a new survey.
Yeah, Euro summer might have to wait till next year.
Rachel Zmilansky and Lorenzo Bryant are among the millions of Americans who are either putting off or changing their summer vacation plans.
I think cost of living is obviously a concern across the board. Obviously, wages haven't really increased with our cost of living.
Earlier this summer, a survey from LendingTree found more than 70% of Americans worried economic uncertainty would impact their ability to travel. Consumer finance analyst Matt Schultz.
A lot of the nervousness in the economy is about tariffs, not even necessarily about the actual impact. It's more about the uncertainty.
Didn't Trump say tariffs are paid by the other countries and that the US is going to be winning? From the outside looking in, I just have to shake my head. Hey. I just have to shake my head. These tariffs are hurting everyone on both sides of the border and really all over the world. Okay, that's my cat. Hey. Okay. All they've done is make things more expensive for everyone. But here's the thing, it's going to hurt the US more in the long run. And do we really think the US businesses are going to absorb those costs? Good luck with that. If these radical tariffs moves didn't happen, I'm pretty sure domestic tourism would be much better positioned right now. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me on this one.
Surrounding them.
The survey also found about half of all Americans are cutting back on the number of trips they plan to take.
The cost is definitely rising everywhere.
Priya told us she decided to move to Miami because the cost of vacationing in Florida to visit family members who live here became too much.
So I moved over here so I didn't have to basically go on vacation anymore. So I'm living in a vacation.
Schultz says there are easier ways to take time off without spending a lot of money.
There are plenty of cool places around you, or that are a short plane flight or a little bit of a road trip away from where you live. And it really is important to take that vacation time that you have.
And of course, there's always a staycation, a cheap way to enjoy some time off.
So it looks like my cat decided to wake up and she's going to join us for the end of this video. So I'll wrap this up quickly. What really stood out to me here is how they're talking about frugal ways to take a vacation. Things like doing a staycation or using their paid time off without actually going anywhere. But if US citizens can't afford to travel across their own country, how is someone from the East Coast supposed to spend money in Disneyland? Or someone from the West Coast supposed to splurge in Manhattan? That's where the international tours come in. Many of us are in different financial positions. And yes, some Canadians do have the means to visit the US even with the rising costs for a longer time. But with everything going on, a lot of us are choosing not to. It's too bad. I was going to vacation in the US, but now I'm going to book Australia instead. Or I was going to go to the US, but I canceled and I'm going to go to Europe instead. The US can't rely on domestic tourism alone for the next 3.5 years. And even if Donald is gone and a Democratic president takes over and tears down that ridiculous ballroom that he's building, you're not going to get back the full wave of international tourists that you were once used to. In 4 or 5 years from now, after Donald is gone and the dust settles, this is going to be a huge eye-opener for the US tourism industry. If you found this video helpful, hit the like and subscribe to help get this message out to more people, and also share it with your friends. And if you're still here and want to check out more videos, check out the video showing up on your screen now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.